Hello students, myself Dhananjay Kulkarni, teacher in physics at Ferguson College. During our first session, we started the chapter AC circuits, in which we have tried to understand what is the need of defining root mean square value of the current or root mean square value of the voltage. Let us discuss RMS value concept in detail in this session. So let us switch over to the PowerPoint presentation. So root mean square or RMS value, an alternating current of peak value I0 flows through the resistor R and produces heat H in time t. The same quantity of heat can be produced in the same resistor R in the same time t by passing a steady current of constant magnitude through it. The value of such a steady current is called effective value or virtual value or RMS value of the given alternating current, which is denoted by IRMS or IV, V for virtual. Now, the relation between the RMS current and instantaneous current or peak value of the current. The relation between RMS and peak value of the current is given by the formula I square R integration of I square with respect to theta limits from 0 to 2 pi divided by integration of d theta from 0 to 2 pi. So I square RMS is equal to integration of 1 with respect to theta is theta, limits are from 0 to 2 pi, and numerator we have kept as it is, integration of I square with respect to theta, limits from 0 to 2 pi. So equal to integration from 0 to 2 pi I square d theta. Now we are replacing theta initially by upper limit, that is 2 pi, minus replacing variable theta by lower limit 0. So we get I square RMS is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration of, now we are replacing I by I0 sine theta. So we get I square RMS is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration of I0 square sine square theta with respect to theta. Limits of integration are from 0 to 2 pi. Now I0 is a constant value which do not vary with respect to theta or with respect to time, and any constant can be taken outside the integral. So that's why we get I square RMS is equal to I0 square upon 2 pi integration from 0 to 2 pi of. Now by trigonometry we know that sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos of 2 theta upon 2, and integration is with respect to theta. Now this 2 being constant can be removed outside the integration. So we get I square RMS is equal to I0 square upon 2 into 2 pi. Now we'll separate the integrals. So initially we'll take integration of 1 with respect to theta. So integration of 1 with respect to theta limits from 0 to 2 pi minus now integration of cos of 2 theta with respect to theta, limits are from 0 to 2 pi. Now integration of 1 with respect to theta is theta, and integration of cos of 2 theta is sine of 2 theta, and integration of 2 theta with respect to theta is 1 upon 2 theta. So here we can see in the next slide, I square RMS is equal to I0 square upon 2 into 2 pi theta minus sine of 2 theta upon 2, limits are from 0 to 2 pi. So we get equal to I0 square 2 into 2 pi. Now we are replacing theta initially by 2 pi. So 2 pi minus sine of 2 theta. 2 theta we are replacing by 2 pi. So we get sine of 4 pi upon 2 minus. Now we are going to replace this theta by lower limit, that is 0. So in the next bracket 0 minus sine of theta is 0. So sine of 0 upon 2. So with this we get I square RMS is equal to I0 square upon 2, because sine of 4 pi is 0. Next term in the bracket is also 0. So what is left is here is only 2 pi, and this 2 pi will get cancelled with this 2 pi. So we get I square RMS is equal to I naught square upon 2, and with this taking square root we get IRMS is equal to I naught upon root 2. Value of root 2 you know 1.414 and 1 upon root 2 is 0.707. So therefore IRMS is equal to 0.707 times the peak value of the current. Similarly, RMS value of alternating EMF is given by ERMS is equal to E naught upon root 2, and 1 upon root 2 is 0.707. So ERMS is equal to 0.707 times E naught, that is the peak value. Now heat produced by a sinusoidally varying AC over a complete cycle. Let the alternating current be represented by I is equal to I naught sine omega t. If this alternating current flows through a resistor R for a small time dt, then the small amount of heat produced is given by dH is equal to I square R into dt. In one complete cycle, one cycle means time varies from 0 to capital T, of alternating current, the total amount of heat produced in the resistor R is given by the formula H is integration of dH. dH is the heat produced in time dt. So in total time from 0 to t means over a complete cycle, the heat produced is given by integration from 0 to t, because what is variable here? T. So lower limit of t is 0, upper limit of t is capital T when one cycle gets over. So H is integration of dH limits from 0 to t. Now dH we know it is I square R dt. So H is equal to integration of I square R dt limits from 0 to t. Now here R is constant which can be removed outside the integral, and that's why H is equal to R integration of I is equal to I naught sine omega t. So we get H is equal to R integration from 0 to 2 pi upon omega. How did you get 2 pi upon omega? Because we know t is equal to 2 pi upon omega. Just replacing t by 2 pi upon omega, and we get H is equal to R limits from 0 to 2 pi upon omega of I naught square sine square omega t integration with respect to t. Now H is equal to I naught square R. We know that sine square omega t is 1 minus cos of 2 omega t upon 2, and integration is with respect to t. So is equal to I naught square R, this 2 being constant removed outside the integral, so divided by 2, and integration of 1 minus cos of 2 omega t with respect to t limits from 0 to 2 pi upon omega. So is equal to I naught square R upon 2. Now by separating integrals we get integration of 1 with respect to t is t, and integration of cos of 2 omega t is sine of 2 omega t, and integration of 2 omega t with respect to t is 1 upon 2 omega. That's why 2 omega is at the denominator. Limits are from 0 to 2 pi upon omega. So is equal to I naught square R upon 2. We are replacing t initially by 2 pi upon omega. So here you get 2 pi upon omega. Replacing t now by lower limit, that is 0. In the second bracket, now we are replacing t by 2 pi upon omega and afterwards by 0. So what do we get? Sine of 2 omega, and small t is equal to 2 pi upon omega, to the denominator 2 omega. And next term t we are replacing by 0. So second term is 0. Sine 0 is 0. So it is I naught square R upon 2, 2 pi upon omega, and in the bracket, in the second bracket, we have term sine of 4 pi upon 2 omega, and we know that sine of 4 pi is equal to 0. So we get H is equal to 2 pi R upon omega into I naught square upon 2. I'll call this as equation 1. If IRMS is the RMS value of the alternating current, then heat produced in resistor R in the same time, that is from 0 to t, is given by H is equal to R into I square RMS into t. Here what we are considering, that to produce same amount of heat in the resistor, same resistor R, in the same time interval t, then how much amount of DC current, means steady current, we have to pass through it? That is equal to I square RMS. And that's why here we have H is equal to R into I square RMS into T. This is R, and T is equal to 2 pi upon omega. That is our second equation. We already got first equation, that H is equal to 2 pi R upon omega into I naught square upon 2. We'll compare the two equations and we get here I square RMS is I naught square upon 2, and hence IRMS is I naught upon root 2. One point to be noted, that AC ammeters and voltmeters record the RMS values of the current and voltage respectively. Such instruments are called hot wire instruments, as the alternating current or voltage is measured by utilizing the heating effect of electric current, and that's why they are called as the hot wire instruments. So this derivation is different than what is given in the textbook. I have taken in a different way so that you will understand it very well. Next is the concept of phasors. To simplify study of AC circuits, alternating current and EMF are represented as rotating vectors of definite length, rotating in anticlockwise direction at a constant angular velocity omega, with the angle between them equal to the phase difference between the current and EMF. And these rotating vectors are called phasors. A rotating vector that represents a quantity varying sinusoidally with time is called a phasor, and the diagram representing alternating EMF and current as a rotating vector along with the phase angle between them is called phasor diagram. Now let us see how do we draw the phasors, how do we represent alternating current and EMF with the help of the phasors. So here we have drawn two axes, x axis, y axis, and the quantity which you are going to represent as a phasor, it can be either current or EMF that we are showing with the help of arrowhead. Only one thing you will have to keep it in mind, that the length of the vector represents the peak value of that quantity, and this phasor makes the angle, say theta, with the horizontal. Means, for example, if your expression for the current I is equal to I naught sin omega t, then what is the phase over there? Omega t. So the angle which is shown in anticlockwise direction, that will represent the phase. So phase for the current is omega t, that is equal to theta, and hence vector is drawn with the angle theta with the defined axis, say x axis, and this vector is rotating in anticlockwise direction with constant angular velocity omega. Now here in the first diagram we have represented current as a phasor. Now if you have to represent EMF as a phasor, then we draw the vector. Length of the vector gives peak value of the EMF, which is E naught. This vector is rotating in anticlockwise direction with constant angular velocity omega, and if the expression for the EMF is E is equal to E naught sin omega t, then the phase for the EMF is omega t. So that's why here the angle, phase angle, is represented by omega t with x-axis. So this is the way to represent the phasors. The projection of the vector on fixed axis gives the instantaneous value of alternating current and alternating EMF. In sine form, we have the equation I is equal to I naught sin omega t, or E is equal to E naught sin omega t. Then the projection is taken along y-axis for the sine form. And in cosine form, the projection is taken on x-axis. So if in cosine form, equation for the current is I is equal to I naught cos omega t, or for the EMF is E is equal to E naught cos omega t, then the projection is taken along x-axis. And for sine form, projection is taken along y-axis. Here let us draw the diagram representing the phasors, x and y-axis, origin O. The vector which is representing the phasor is shown with the red. This phasor is rotating in anticlockwise direction with constant angular velocity omega. And let us consider that we are representing current as a phasor, peak value of the current is represented by the length of this vector. This is first figure. If you take projection of the current on y-axis, then on y-axis what does it represent? It will represent the sine form, and that's why the instantaneous current will be given by I is equal to I naught sine omega t. Similarly, if you are representing EMF by phasor, then in that case the length of the vector will represent the peak value of the EMF E naught. This vector is rotating in anticlockwise direction with constant angular velocity omega. If you take its projection along x-axis, then it will give you cosine function. So on x-axis, EMF will be given by E naught cos omega t. If you take projection on y-axis, the instantaneous EMF will be given by E naught sine omega t. Same is the case with the current. If you take projection of the current on x-axis, it will give you the instantaneous current as I is equal to I naught cos omega t. The phasor representation is particularly useful for dealing with two or more sinusoidally varying alternating quantities which have the same frequency but different phases. This is very important statement. For example, when a sinusoidal voltage is applied in a circuit, the resulting current is also sinusoidal and has the same frequency as that of the applied voltage. However, there is generally phase difference between the applied voltage and the resulting current, except in case of AC circuit that contains resistance only. We are going to discuss that topic afterwards. So when AC is applied to pure resistor, then in that case EMF and current are in the same phase. Otherwise, generally there is a phase difference between applied voltage and the resulting current. One point to be noted that it is usual practice to draw the phase diagram using RMS values rather than maximum values. But again, there will not be much difference. This will not alter the phase difference between the phases because only the lengths of the phasors are changed. Angle will not change, and angle represents the phase difference. So that's why there are two ways to represent the phasor, one with instantaneous value, but whenever you are showing with the instantaneous value, the length of the vector always represents the peak value, and the other way to represent is with the help of RMS value. Here we can see the diagram. The phasor is shown with the help of this red arrow, and the phase angle here is omega t. And when this vector phasor will rotate, this vector will describe different angles, and when it will come back here, it will complete one rotation or one cycle. Now, sinusoidal waveform, if it is to be drawn in a time domain, then what do? We take omega t, that is theta, along x-axis, and the quantity, whether it is EMF or current, which is taken along y-axis. Now here, the phasor is drawn with a red color vector, and here phase is omega t, that is equal to 30 degree. So corresponding to that, what is the value of the current or EMF, whatever we are representing, that is this value. Now when the phasor will trace an angle of 60 degree, his phase is 60 degree, that time the quantity will have this value. When the phase is 90 degree, there is a maximum value of the quantity, whether it is current or EMF. When it will complete 180 degree, means half rotation, then the value will be 0. When it will complete 270 degree, third quarter cycle, that time the amplitude will be maximum, means current or EMF will be maximum, but on the reverse side. And when it will come back to its initial position, when phase is 360, that is 2 pi, then in that case it will come back to 0 value. So there are two ways of representing, one rotating phasor and other you can take its sinusoidal waveform in the time domain. And here is the animation with the help of which you will be able to understand this concept very clearly. So when this phasor completes one rotation, that time one wave is formed. So this is the similarity between the two ways of representation. Next topic is types of AC circuits. A closed circuit followed by alternating current is called an AC circuit. There are four types of AC circuits. First, resistive AC circuit. Next, inductive AC circuit. Next, capacitive AC circuit. So here we can see in the picture resistor, capacitor and inductor. How do they look like? Pictures are also shown. And the fourth one is resonance circuit. In resonance circuit also there are two types. One is LCR series resonance circuit and other is LC parallel resonance circuit. In the resistive AC circuit, there is only pure resistor. In case of inductive AC circuit, there is only inductor, pure inductor. In case of capacitive AC circuit, there is only capacitor. But in case of resonance circuit, you are either series circuit or parallel circuit. Let us go to the first type, resistive AC circuit, in which AC voltage is applied to a resistor. So simple diagram, the source of alternating EMF whose instantaneous value is E is applied across the resistor. In one half cycle of AC, current will flow through the resistor in one direction. In next half cycle of AC, the current will flow through the resistor in the opposite direction. Now, instantaneous value of EMF applied by an AC source is given by the formula E is equal to E naught sin omega t, where E naught is the peak value of the voltage. And this entire voltage will be dropped across the resistor. So potential drop across the resistor will be E according to Ohm's law is given by the formula E is equal to I into R. Now instantaneous EMF must be equal to instantaneous value of potential drop. It is obvious because whatever voltage you have applied with the help of this source will be entirely drop across the resistor. Hence instantaneous EMF will be equal to instantaneous value of potential drop. And hence I can write, we have two equations. If we compare, we can write IR is equal to E naught sin omega t. Now from this I is equal to E upon R, because E is I into R, so I is equal to E upon R, that is equal to E naught upon R into sin of omega t. Now this is the expression for the instantaneous current. E naught is the peak value of the EMF, means voltage, divided by resistance, and voltage upon resistance is current, and if the voltage is maximum, current will be maximum. So therefore we can write the expression I is equal to I naught sin omega t, where I naught is equal to E naught upon R. If we study graphically variation of EMF and current with respect to phase, nature of the graph you get like this. Now what is expression for the EMF? E is equal to E naught sin omega t. So variation of EMF will be like sine function. Initially when omega t is 0, sin 0 is 0, so EMF is 0. Next, when omega t is equal to pi by 2, then sin pi by 2 is plus 1, that's why EMF is plus E naught. Next, when omega t is equal to pi, sin pi is 0, EMF will be 0. Next value is 3 pi by 2, sin of 3 pi by 2 is minus 1 into E naught minus E naught for 3 pi by 2. And when it will complete one cycle, then in that case phase is equal to 2 pi, sin of 2 pi is 0. And that's why this is the variation of EMF, instantaneous EMF with respect to phase. For current, what is the expression? I is equal to I naught sin omega t. And here we can see that the variation for the current will be same as that of the EMF, because the phase is also same. For current, what is the phase? Omega t. For EMF, what is the phase? Omega t. There is no phase difference between them. So here you can observe that the value of the current when omega t is equal to 0 is 0. When omega t is pi by 2, current is plus I naught. Here it should be plus sign. Then when the phase is pi, current is 0. When the phase is 3 pi by 2, the current is maximum, that is minus I naught in the opposite direction. When the phase is 2 pi, current is 0. So variation of the current is same as that of the EMF. Here one thing to be noticed, that when the current is 0, EMF is 0. When the EMF is peak on one side, current is also peak on the same side. When the EMF is peak on the reverse side, current is also peak on the reverse side. So both reach their zero value simultaneously. Both reach their peak value in the same direction simultaneously. So they are in phase. There is no phase difference between them. And mathematically also we can compare. Phase for the current is omega t. Even for the EMF it is omega t. There is no phase difference between them. Next topic is phasor for pure resistive AC circuit. Suppose we are going to show phase relation between the EMF and current with the help of phasor diagram. Then what do? Initially we are drawing the phasor for the EMF. So this vector will represent phasor for the EMF. For EMF, the phase is omega t. That is shown with the help of this angle. For current, what is our expression? I is equal to I naught sine omega t. So current is also in the same direction. Only difference between the two is the length of the vector. And we know that current is voltage upon resistance. And when we are drawing these vectors on the same scale, naturally for current, the length of the vector will be small. For the EMF, that is voltage, it will be greater. And if you take projection of EMF along y-axis, then in that it will give you instantaneous EMF, and that instantaneous EMF is E is equal to E naught sine omega t. Similarly, if you take projection of the current vector on y-axis, it will give you instantaneous value of the current, and instantaneous value of the current will be I naught sine omega t. And here both are in the same direction because there is no phase difference between them. So current and EMF are in the same phase, represented by phasors in the same direction, making an angle omega t with OX, that is x-axis. Phase angle between them is 0 as shown in the figure. And here also, this figure already we have discussed that current and voltage both reach minimum value, that is 0, simultaneously. Both reach peak value in the same direction simultaneously in both the cycles of AC. So there is no phase difference between them. So this is about the application of AC to purely resistive circuit. So students, in today's session, we continued with the concept of RMS value. We established relation between the RMS value of the current and the peak value of the current. So we represented the relation between the RMS value of the EMF, peak value of the EMF, after which we discussed about the heat produced in the resistor. That concept also helped us to understand the relation between RMS value and the peak value. After which we studied about the phasor, how to represent current and EMF with the help of phasors. And after that we studied about the types of AC circuit, in which we completed first type, that is application of AC to pure resistor. Thank you.